With the growing concerns of opioids in our communities, OPP are concerned that the public are ignoring the deadly consequences of these various drugs that are circulating and stress you don't know what you're receiving.
There's a number of things to consider with illegal street drugs. Number one, the actual drug, the chemicals that are in the drugs, of themselves can be lethal. The other questions, the manufacture of these drugs, they're not made in pharmaceutical laboratories. They are not made by chemists or scientists. These things are made by people that are operating out of warehouses that don't have the knowledge. There's no quality control and there's no consistency. So over and above the fact that the drugs themselves can be lethal, you have no idea what it is you're taking. It could be poisons, it could be harsh chemicals, it could be anything but what you think it is.
And on December 14th, the OPP and the Community Crime Unit conducted a traffic stop in Bracebridge and arrested a male for possession of controlled substance for the purpose of trafficking, and also executed a search warrant on his hotel room and seized a concerning large amount of opioids.
In this case, there was a substantial amount of cocaine, which is a fairly common street drug that everybody knows about, everybody's seen. The other drug, the alarming drug, was the purple heroin that has been in the news recently. This is a new type of drug. It's a heroin, it's a fentanyl combination. They've even added a purple coloring that resembles a purple candy, has the smell of purple grape candy. Not to be confused with candy, it's lethal stuff. Fentanyl, as we've seen, the amount of fentanyl, the size of the grain of salt, is sufficient to be a lethal dose. And again, when I spoke earlier of these drugs being made without any kind of quality control, if they're mixing it together in a bowl and then portioning it out, you have no idea how much fentanyl is in this batch. You may get a batch that has no fentanyl, you may get a batch that's all fentanyl, and at the end of the day, we're seeing lives being lost.
Once drugs and cash are seized, it is locked up and kept for evidence that may be used in court trial.
The drug itself has to be analyzed. The Centre of Forensic Science in Toronto usually will do the analysis on the drug so that we know with a degree of certainty when we go into a court environment that exactly what the drug is. Once the court matter is deemed to be done, dealt with, then the drugs are destroyed. And the cash itself is not destroyed. We have provincially got an asset forfeiture unit where any cash or assets that have been deemed proceeds of crime, if they can't be returned to a victim, then they are forfeited to the province.
James says it's always concerning to find out that these dangerous drugs are in our communities, but the OPP are working hard to get them off the streets.
It is relieving to know, it's nice to know that members of the Community Street Crime Unit are working hard, they're working diligently to stay on top of the movement of this stuff, stay on top of the people that are trying to move this stuff around. And they're making arrests, they're seizing it, they're getting it off the streets, and that's nice to know.
If you have any tips, you can call the OPP or Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS. I'm Samantha Johnson for Cogeco News.